and what actually ChatGPT is. ChatGPT is basically an AI-powered assistant that can understand and generate human-like text. You can ask it questions, requests, explanations, and it helps you to summarize that information, brainstorm ideas, practice your skills, and much more. And it's also available 24/7. Think of it as a tutor that's available 24 hours a day. However, it's important to remember that ChatGPT is also a tool for learning, not a replacement for learning. Students around the world use ChatGPT for different reasons: understanding difficult topics, creating study notes, summarizing textbooks, doing homeworks, learning programming, preparing you for exams. You can use it to practice languages, and also you can use it to manage study schedules. The key is knowing how to ask it the right questions. If you're new to ChatGPT, you need to create an account and familiarize yourself with the interface. You'll see a text box where you can type prompts, and everything with ChatGPT starts with a prompt. So to create your ChatGPT account, basically you go to chatgpt.com. You will need an email address. I think I made a video, I will link below in the description, on how to create an account on ChatGPT. And then we are using the free plan, and then you can just start playing around looking at available features before starting a new chat. So once you're on ChatGPT, this is how your interface will look like. And to tap on chat, you just have to click here and you'll see this. It has so many different things that you can do. You can add photos, recent files, create images, thinking, deep research, websites, and many more. And you can also use voice search. You just speak to it, it listens, and then it will respond to you. Now, before using ChatGPT for anything, you need to understand prompts. Now, a prompt is simply an instruction, and most beginners make the mistake of writing very short prompts. For example, tell me about biology. That prompt is very bad. The more context you provide, the better your results will be. Now, the perfect prompt formula is role plus context, format, and then also the constraints. Now, let us write these prompts and see how ChatGPT responds. When you ChatGPT, tell me about biology. This is an example of a very bad prompt. Let us try that. It's a bad prompt. However, it will still give you results, but it's not going to be as perfect as if you write the good prompt. So let us do this prompt. We just type, tell me about biology. Now, one thing about this prompt is it is too broad. However, it will give you results. This is not recommended. You need to make sure that your prompt has a role, context, formula, and also the more specific it is, the better the results. Now you can see the response is still useful, but it is fairly very, very generic. Now, let us do with a better prompt. Let us tell ChatGPT, you are a biology teacher. Now, if we tell ChatGPT this, we are giving it a role. I tell it, explain photosynthesis. We are now specific. We want to learn about photosynthesis to a grade 10. That means we want it to explain in the simplest term possible. Let's say to a grade 10 student, we can say using simple language, examples. Let's also be specific. And then we can also tell it to use bullet points. Now, what you see in this prompt is that it is we have given ChatGPT a role, so it's going to act like a teacher, and it's going to explain to us, we are dumb. And then we give it a role. We give it constraints, use examples, use bullet points, and then press enter. So you can see it will explain to you what photosynthesis is. It's a process by which green plants make their own food. And it is going to give you an example, like think of it like a kitchen. And then where does it happen, And then it has even generated for you an image to explain how this photosynthesis happens. It has visualized it for you. In that, even if you don't understand it, the results are really very specific, and it's giving you all these details, why it is important, a real life example, and also a quick summary about this. And then this is a quick memory trick. So now you notice how much more focused and useful the answer becomes. Now the AI now understands who it should be, what it should do, who the audience is, and also how to structure the answer. And trust me, this answer is very easy to read through and very easy to understand, including even an illustration. As you can see here, these are illustrations it has generated. So for you to really work well with ChatGPT, you need to write very good prompts. So we can also do another comparison of a bad prompt. Help me with history. For example, when you tell ChatGPT, help me with history, what do you mean? But when you ask it, explain the causes of World War I to a high school student and provide a summary table, it's going to do exactly that. This is because the prompt is very specific and it will produce a way better results. So now you can use ChatGPT as your study assistant. And this is one of the best uses of ChatGPT, especially if you're a student. You make it as your study or your personal tutor. Whenever you're stuck on a concept, you can ask for explanations. You can request it for examples. You can get analogies, learn step by step, and you can also ask follow-up questions. Let me just create a new chat and let's do this example. Assuming you're not understanding a concept, let's say Newton's law, you can ask ChatGPT to explain Newton's first law using everyday examples. You can even tell it, explain like I am 12 years old. Let's see what it says. So you can see it has given an explanation and it has given you examples to make it clear, all this. And it goes ahead and tells you how you can remember this. Now, let's say you forgot something in that prompt. You can ask it like, you know what? Give me 3 more examples. And this is where the conversation becomes very powerful. It will add for you more examples, and you can read through that and make sure that everything is perfect. Now, that is the beautiful thing about using ChatGPT as your study assistant. Now, you can also use ChatGPT to summarize information. Students spend countless hours reading textbooks, articles, and ChatGPT can help you summarize them, condense those articles, and also simplify complex notes. You can also create key takeaways and have a perfectly made summary. Now let's look at an example. So I'm just going to go on this website and I have there's a lot of notes here. You can see there's a lot of notes here on photosynthesis and all that. So now what you can actually do, go to a specific topic. Now it's asking us to sign in, but you don't need to sign in. Okay, wherever your notes are, just copy. You copy it and then you go. I'm just giving you an example. And then I'm going to go to ChatGPT and tell it to summarize the notes on that topic that I copied. I'm going to paste it there. I pasted it and give it key points and summarize it. Okay, I've already named summarize and I'll press enter. Yes, and so it's going to summarize it for you. M for movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, etc. You can also upload your document. If you downloaded it, you upload it and then ask it please summarize for me this. It doesn't matter how many pages. Now, ChatGPT also helps you to research. This is another area where ChatGPT really shines. It helps you generate ideas, organize your thinking, and before you go out, make sure that you verify the sources independently. For example, we can tell ChatGPT to generate 10 research questions about renewable energy. And you can see within seconds, ChatGPT will generate 10 different questions on that particular topic that you've asked it to do. Now, this is another powerful use of ChatGPT to help you brainstorm. So aside from that, ChatGPT also helps you with writing essay. You can prompt it to, you make sure that you choose a topic on that particular essay that you're working on. And also it can generate thesis statements. It can create for you an outline. It can build for you arguments. It can develop counter arguments. This basically saves significant planning time. And also ChatGPT helps you to improve your writing. You can ask it to fix your grammar, to improve clarity, to strengthen your arguments, adjust tone, improve the structure. For example, you can tell it, improve this paragraph for clarity and grammar while maintaining my original meaning, anything that you can think of. Also, it helps you prepare for your examination. You can generate quizzes, just like I did in the previous. You can tell it to generate for you quizzes, flashcards, practice with mock exams, and also test your understanding. The secret to learning is always asking follow-up questions. Don't stop after the first answer. Ask ChatGPT, for example, let's say explain quantum mechanics like I'm 15 years old. It gives you an answer, and then tell it to give it examples, use analogies, simplify it further until you come to the result that you want. Aside from that, you can actually use ChatGPT to become your language learning partner. You can practice vocabulary, grammar, conversations, writing, and also reading comprehensions. And it helps you to correct mistakes, explain to you grammar, introduce you to also new vocabulary, and also next is you can use ChatGPT as your coding assistant. So programming students, you can really benefit from ChatGPT, learning new programming concepts, understanding code, debugging errors, project ideas, code explanation. For example, we can ask ChatGPT to generate a code to calculate sum of two numbers in JavaScript. Let's say that in JavaScript. And you can see it has generated for you. If you want a shorter version, you have that. Now you can copy this code to your text editor and then run it. And if you want further explanation, you can go ahead and ask it, like, let's say, for example, can you create a user interface to perform this calculation using HTML and CSS? And here it will come up with a complete example HTML and CSS and JS code. You see that? Now let's just test this code and see if it works. So I'm going to copy this code here and I'm going to open my VS Code. So I'll create a new file. Let me say index.html. So let me just create it on the desktop, I guess. Then I'm going to paste it there. So now this is our ChatGPT code. And let me try to run it. So I'll right click and open it in live server. So you can see it has a simple interface. So I'm going to enter the first number 2, the second number 5, and calculate. The result is 7. Have you seen how fast we have built this calculator just with this ChatGPT code? I've not even edited anything. So if you're someone who is a coder, this is one of the ways you can use ChatGPT to learn programming. And if you don't understand this code, make sure you go ahead here and tell it to explain it further. So yes, you can also use it to debug, to explain that project like we just demonstrated. You can also use ChatGPT to organize your notes. Disorganized notes often leads to inefficient studying. So make sure that you can transform your notes into study guides, flashcards, summaries, cheat sheets, revision plans, etc. Now, students often struggle with scheduling, and you can ask ChatGPT to set up for you a timetable when you can be studying, when you're going to be planning your daily plans, weekly goals, exam plans, focus strategies. You just have to tell it what to do and it will exactly do for you that. Now, these are some of the advanced prompting techniques you can use. You have to assign it a role. For example, you tell it act as a math teacher. This is what we call role prompting. And then you can tell it act as a chemistry professor or a programming expert, whatever you want. That is what we call role prompting. Then with chain prompting, this is basically asking it to improve the answers step by step. For example, we tell it to write a code in JavaScript we tell it to generate a code to calculate sum of two numbers in JavaScript, and it does that. Then we do a follow-up code, like a follow-up prompt like, okay, can you create a user interface using HTML, CSS to perform this calculation? That is what we call chain prompting. It will break complex tasks into smaller tasks. And this method basically improves the results that you will get. Then also we have iterative prompting. This one basically improves answers throughout follow-up questions. These methods significantly improve the results. So now you can build a study workflow using ChatGPT. For example, you tell it to learn concepts, summarize notes for you, create quiz, flashcards, and using this system consistently improve your learning efficiency. Now, I want to talk about some of the common mistakes you need to avoid when you're using ChatGPT. Now, let us discuss what not to do. Never trust every answer blindly. For example, when I generated that code, I had to first put it in my editor to confirm, is the code working? Yes, it is working. And then you can also go through it and see, okay, how have they named the functions? Understand it. Then using vague prompts, copying work directly. For example, we copied our work into VS Code. We need to go through it and edit it, fact check it. Don't submit AI-generated work without reviewing. Sit down and review each and every line that it has written for you, each and every answer that it has given you, because these mistakes limit the effectiveness of the tool. Now, for academic integrity, use ChatGPT ethically. The goal is to learn. Use it to understand concepts, use it to improve your writing, use it to practice your skills. Avoid using it to bypass learning. Always follow your institution's guidelines if you are a student. Fact check. I cannot emphasize this enough. AI systems can occasionally make mistakes. That is why verification is very essential. Double check for statistics, citations, facts, claims, and also the research findings. Treat it as an assistant, not a final authority. So these are some of the best prompt templates that you can use. You can tell ChatGPT to explain a topic to a beginner using a beginner example. You can ask it to create quiz about a specific topic. You just have to replace this with your topic. You can ask it to summarize content into key points. For example, if you have a bunch of notes, you just want it summarized, it will do it for you. You can tell it to turn your notes into a study guide. Now let's talk about the future of AI in education. I want us to debate. AI is becoming increasingly integrated into education. Students who learn how to use AI responsibly today will have an advantage in the future workplace. So the key skill won't be avoiding AI. It will be learning how to collaborate effectively with it. So you can use it as your personalized learning AI tutors, intelligent study systems, and also enhanced productivity tools. Now remember, you need to use detailed prompts, verify information, learn actively, practice, and also use it ethically. ChatGPT works best when it is helping you think. When it is helping you think, not thinking for you. So if you found this tutorial very useful, be sure that you like the video. And also let me know in the comments how you're using ChatGPT in your studies and what tutorials you'd like to see next. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.